very rapidly, driven by huge financial losses, estimated at around about $6 trillion globally, and driven by new regulation and an emerging market in cyber insurance. Now, growth at that scale is causing significant market stress. There is a shortage of around about 1.5 million people to do this work, and cyber tech is evolving very quickly. Something that you buy today is pretty worthless tomorrow. And that means that companies are having to spend a lot of capital just to keep up. So if you put those things together, rapid evolution, escalating costs, and a huge shortage of people, most companies, and for me that means anyone turning less than $1 billion, most companies are really struggling to provide any kind of competent cyber defense at the moment. And that means that they're going to have to buy it in, and that's my market. The cyber services market is growing at around about 25% per year at the moment. And Falanx's market, particularly picked out by PwC last year as being the fastest, best market for both companies and customers to be in right now. Okay, question 2. When should we act? When do companies and investors need to jump on this runaway train? And my view is that the answer to that question is right now. Firstly, the UK government, Philip Hammond, has announced a major cybersecurity initiative for the UK. And if you now want to do business with Her Majesty's government, you have to have a Cyber Essentials Certificate. And we can help you with that. Secondly, the EU is bringing in the General Data Protection Requirement. It will be live before we leave. And the UK Information Commissioner has confirmed that this will be incorporated into British law going forward. It introduces new rights for citizens and new challenges for business. Now, one of those challenges is that it will be mandatory to report all cyber breaches. And another is that the fines are massively increased. If you do business anywhere in Europe, you can be fined up to 5% of your global turnover. That's most of your annual profit. So, is that a real threat? Well, the statistics are that 100% of companies every year face viruses and Trojans. 81% of them admit to being hacked. 69% of them say that at some point last year they were unable to work or unable to service their clients because of a cyber attack. And only 31% of them said they had any kind of plan to deal with this problem. So what does that mean? It means that you have an 81% chance of losing most of your profit every year going forward. And for me, this is the trigger point. This is the point at which companies and boards all over the UK can no longer put cyber in the too hard tray. They can no longer be reactive. If they get hacked, most of their profit is now at stake. Finally, they genuinely do have to be proactive. The next element of the market that's emerging is cyber insurance. Because the fines are so great, companies are now seeking that in much greater numbers than before. It was made mandatory in the US a couple of years ago, and penetration there has quickly increased to around about 40%. Here in the UK, at the moment, it's about 2%. And my view is that that is going to now grow very, very quickly. And I believe that no insurance company will give you cyber insurance without a cyber MOT. And that's what we do, of course. So the third question is why Falanx? Why us and not another company? Well, the first point is that there aren't actually that many cyber services companies listed. You cannot invest in the accounting firms who do some of this. And if you invest in the big boys like IBM, HP, and Fujitsu, well, you're buying 98% old IT and 2% cyber security. And then finally, most of the smaller players in cyber are actually owned by private equity. Falanx, however, is AIM-listed, and the individual investor can invest directly in cyber through us. The second set of reasons to choose Falanx is that we are in the right place at the right time. We do security as a service, and that is the fastest growing market in cyber defense. And we are focused on mid-sized enterprises and SMEs. That's the bulk of people who are now going to have to buy cyber for the first time in large volume. And then finally, we are focused on financial services and online businesses because they're the people who face the threats and they're the people who will have the budgets. And then the final set of reasons to choose Falanx is because of who we are, what we do, and who we work for. Firstly, we have a very strong, highly qualified and experienced team. We are growing rapidly. We have just tripled our service capacity in our new facilities in Birmingham. This week, we also announced our new services platform called Midgard, designed for volume rollout to multiple clients and to guard the middle ground of British business. Midgard gives us control over client service. It allows us to scale quickly and to reduce our costs. Costs that we can pass on to our customers so that we are at a very keen price point compared to trying to do this in-house. That means our customers, they no longer have to worry about their recruiting problem. They don't have to worry about spending capital on new cyber tech every year or on the pains of implementing it, because we do all that across many clients in return for a simple subscription. And then the final reason to choose Falanx is that we already have a blue-chip client base and fantastic partners. Our clients are already famous names. They include the Navy, parts of the UK government, and many in the FTSE 100. Names like Nokia, Qantas, one of the FTSE 100 banks, and even Exxon. And just to be clear, that covers telecoms, transport, financial services, government, and energy. And our partners include CDW, SNX, and Nasdaq. They use our security themselves, and they are helping us sell it on to their more than 2,000 clients because they know it's good, and they can give it a recommendation on the basis that they use it themselves. So, what do we actually do? Well, we have two businesses. Our first business is the pure cyber business. We consult with clients. We give advice on cyber standards, the problems, and how to fix them. Secondly, we assess clients. That's a fancy way of saying that we hack them ethically for a living. We go and fish their people. We find out where their real weaknesses are, and then we help them plug those gaps. Thirdly, we monitor our clients. If a client gets hacked, we check, we tell whether or not they're okay. We stand guard in cyberspace for our clients. And then finally, we respond. If a client does get hacked, or more often than not, a non-client calls us in the middle of the night, then we turn up. We assess what's happened, we quickly fix the problem, and then guess what? We have a new long-term client. So, our second business is in intelligence, and this is also growing around about 20% organically this year. First, we report on 33 countries, geopolitical risk and politics. We specialize in Islamic terrorism. That's most unusual. We help companies understand what it means and how to manage the risk for their business and their people. We embed our staff in our clients' corporate headquarters. They're often ex-intelligence services staff, and they provide strategic advice to our clients' boards. And finally, we advise and check on our clients' suppliers, partners, and potential acquisitions. Who really owns them? Who really pulls the strings behind the scenes? What's really going on? What's the true business risk? And of course, are they cyber competent? So, at least now you will understand my Twitter handle, Cyber Spook. So how do we make money? Firstly, we get to know our clients. We gain their trust through consulting and advice, through doing projects to improve their security. And then we engage for the long run. We provide threat assessments, monitoring, we advise their boards, we become their virtual cyber security team and their intelligence analysts. And we do that all through long-term annuity and subscription contracts. The next question that most people want to know about someone on AIM is, who are we? Well, there's been a lot of change. 4 of our 6 board members are new this year. Between us, we have managed P&Ls worth billions at Pipex, EDS, and Global Strategies Group, and we have run major security operations at HP and PwC. And between us, over the years, we have done many, many acquisitions and sales, and I do not believe that you will find a stronger management team. So, to summarize, why should you invest in Falanx? Number 1, because it's the right market. Cyber is growing strongly, and because new threats and regulations are driving that market even faster this year than before. 2, because we, Falanx, are in the right place, providing security as a service. Because we are growing quickly, we have recently tripled our capacity. 4thly, because we have a strong management team who are here to build a great company. And because we already have a trusted offer. We are broader than a single product, and we aim for comprehensive cyber defense. And the new Midgard platform helps us turn that into annuity revenue. And then finally, because you don't have to take my word for it, all you have to do is look at my clients and partners. We are already trusted widely in government and the FTSE 100. And we have great partners who are helping us quickly reach a volume audience. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Time for questions, and I hope maybe a few answers too. Who'd like to start? Please, yes.
Good presentation. We've had similar presentations in previous years. When will the company turn positive, cash positive and profitable?
Thank you very much. He said, good presentation, same as previous years. When are you going to go cash positive? I don't actually think it is the same as previous years. We've significantly enhanced our cyber offering and estate. We've tripled our capacity. 2/3 of our board is new this year. So please just let me quibble with that first statement. It's not the same as last year. I have stuck my colours to the mast. I have told the market that we are going cash positive and profitable during next year. And you can judge me on that.
How can you compete with FireEye and the big American?
Okay. The question here is, how do we compete with FireEye, the big American player? The answer to that, and I'll be... Sorry?
Big American players.
Mega players. So I myself am ex-HP. So I used to lead one of those mega players. So I know what their strengths are, and bluntly, I know what their weaknesses are. They're slow. We are faster. So that is the first dynamic. We're genuinely faster to respond. But more important than any of that, it's actually about building that relationship of trust and responsiveness directly with the client board. There is no secret sauce. Everyone knows everything about the internet. It's public domain. But the one thing that you cannot replicate is people who depend on strong client relationships. And that is what I would actually pick out as the most important thing for us in the long run, because that's what turns us from being a flash in the pan to being an organisation that has long-term client relations. But it's a great question. And no, I don't think it's the latest widget. Let me just be very clear on that, because today's widget is tomorrow's history, I'm afraid. Any more questions? Well, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see some of you on our share register shortly. Thank you very much.